Hello students, in previous class we discussed about symbol of elements, atomicity and valency. So now we are discussing about valency clearly. So what is the meaning of valency? Valency is nothing but atoms of the elements have power to combine with the atom of other elements. This is known as its valency. Okay, so atom of the elements have power to combine with the atom of other elements. This is known as its valency. So yesterday we discussed that matter is made up of small particles are called as atoms. So these atoms are indivisible, that is said by Dalton. But after after that, so many scientists they did so many experiments and they finally decide that atoms also divisible, in that so many small particles are there, but the important particles are electron, proton, neutron, they said. So these electron, proton, neutrons are present in the atom, no? So these are called as subatomic particles. Okay, so this electron, proton and neutron are called as subatomic particles. So this electron, proton, neutrons are present in the atom. Now how this will be arranged in the atom? So to explain about the arrangement of this electron, proton, neutron, different scientists they proposed different models. In that, one of the model is J.J. Thomson model, another model is Rutherford model, and another model is Bohr model. Like the different models are there. After these all models, electrons, protons and neutrons present in the center of the atom, that is called as nucleus, and electrons are revolving around the nucleus in circular path, that are called as energy levels or shells. So these energy levels are showed by n is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4 or KLMN. Okay. So in n is equals to 1 shell we can fill 2 electrons, n is equals to 2 shell we can fill 8 electrons, n is equals to 3 shell we can fill 18 electrons, n is equals to 4 shell we can fill 32 electrons, like that. Okay, so here helium is hydrogen atomic number 1. Okay, so that one electron is there, so that one electron will occupy which shell? N is equals to 1 shell, means in n is equals to 1 shell it will come. Helium atomic number 2, it's how many electrons are there? 2 electrons are there. This will occupy which shell? N is equals to 1 shell only. Okay, lithium atomic number 3, how many electrons are there? 3 electrons, 3 protons are there. So first 2 electrons will occupy n is equals to 1 shell, next 1 electron will occupy in n is equals to 2 shell. Beryllium atomic number 4, so how the electrons will be arranged? N is equals to 1 shell, 2 electrons, n is equals to 2 shell, 2 electrons, like that it will occupy. Okay, so oxygen atomic number how much? 8. Okay, first 2 electrons will occupy first shell, next 6 electrons will occupy n is equals to 2 shell. Nitrogen, okay, fluorine atomic number 9, first 2 electrons will come in, n is equals to 1 shell, next 7 electrons will come in, n is equals to 2 shell. Okay, next neon atomic number 10, first 2 electrons will come in first shell, n is equals to 1 shell, next 8 electrons will come in, n is equals to 2 shell. Okay, sodium atomic number 11, first 2 electrons will occupy, n is equals to 1 shell, next 8 electrons will occupy, n is equals to 2 shell, next 1 more electron will occupy in n is equals to 3 shell, like that the electrons will be arranged. So here atoms of the element combining with the atom of another element, no? That is how that will be combining? Is it follow any rule? Yes, according to octet rule, atom of one element is combining with the atom of another element. So what is the meaning of octet rule? Octet rule is nothing but if in the last shell, okay, if 8 electrons are there, then it will become stable. If in its last shell, if 8 electrons are not there, then it will not become stable. Okay, so if in the last shell, if 8 electrons are not there, then what how that is getting 8 electrons? So in its last shell, to get that 8 electrons, sometimes atom of the element is giving the electrons to another one, and atom of the element is taking the electrons from another one. For example, more than 8 electrons are there in the last shell, then atom of that element is giving that electron to another one. Sometimes less than 8 electrons, okay, less than 8 electrons are there, then atom of that element is taking the electron from another one. So like that, that is giving the electron to another one and taking the electrons from another one. So by giving the electrons, by taking the electrons in its last shell, it will get 8 electrons, then it will become stable. Okay, so here atom of the elements, to get that 8 electron, sometimes it is giving the electron to another one. To get that 8 electron, sometimes it is taking the electron from another one. By like this giving by giving the electrons, by taking the electrons, it will become stable. Okay, that is called as, so how many electrons it is giving, how many electrons it is taking, that number is called as its valency. So why it is giving the electrons to another one, why it is taking the electrons from another one? To become stable. Okay, to get 8 electrons, and to become stable, that is giving the electrons to another one, that is taking the electrons from another one. Okay, so here one table 6 given, table, once you observe this table 6, so here table 6, first one element is helium. In that helium, how many electrons are there? 2 electrons are there. So in which shell we can fill that electrons? In n is equals to 1 shell, we can fill 2 electrons. So what is its valency? 0. Except helium, remaining all follow the octet rule. Why? Because n is equals to 1 shell, just we can fill 2 electrons, no? So that's why except helium, remaining all follow the octet rule. Okay, so helium atomic number 2, these 2 electrons will occupy n is equals to 1 shell. Okay, these 2 electrons will come in n is equals to 1 shell. So in n is equals to 1 shell, we can fill only 2 electrons, no? 2 electrons we can fill. In helium also 2 electrons completely filled. So no need to take from another one, no need to give to another one. So that's why its valency is 0. Okay, hydrogen atomic number 1. Okay, which shell it will occupy? It will occupy n is equals to 1 shell. Okay, so in n is equals to 1 shell, how many electrons we can fill? 2 electrons will fill. Okay, if 2 electrons are there, then it will become stable. Okay, n is equal to 1 shell, we can fill 2 electrons, no? So for this n is equal to 1 shell, no need to follow this octet rule. Remaining all shell, we have to follow that according to octet rule. So hydrogen atomic number 1, in that 1 electron is there, this 1 electron is occupy, first this 1 electron will occupy n is equals to 1 shell. So in that n is equal to 1 shell, we can fill 2 electrons. To get that 2, how many electrons are less? 1 electron is less, means it may be take the electron, or it may be lose the electrons. Okay, by taking the electrons, okay, by taking that 1 electron, it will become stable. So that how many hydrogen taking how many electrons? 1. Okay, to get that 2 electrons, 1 is less, no? That's valency is 1. Fluorine atomic number 9. First shell, how many electrons we can fill? 2 electrons we can fill. Next shell, we can fill 7 electrons. So it is stable? No. To get that stability, how many electrons are there? Fluorine atomic number 9. In first shell, we can fill 2 electrons. Next shell, we can fill 7 electrons. To get, okay, next shell means n is equals to 2 shell. To get that 8 electrons, how many electrons are less? 1 electron is less. So this fluorine is taking 1 electron from another element. Okay, so it is taking the electron from another element. So it is taking 1 electron, no? That's why its valency is 1. Chlorine atomic number 17. First shell, how many electron we can fill? 2. Next shell, how many electron we can fill? 8. 2 plus 8, how many are completed? 10 electrons completed. Remaining, how many are balanced? 7 are balanced. These 7 electrons where we can keep? We can fill these 7 electrons in n is equals to 3 shell. Okay, in n is equals to 3 shell, in that chlorine, n is equal to 3 shell, 7 electrons are there. It is stable? Not stable. Why? Because to get that 8 electrons, 1 electron is less. So this chlorine is taking 1 electron from another element. Okay, so it is taking 1 electron, no? Its valency is 1. After taking that electron from another one, it will become stable. So from which element it will take? It can take from sodium also. Okay, sodium atomic number 11. Okay, first shell 2 electrons will come, n is equals to 1 shell. N is equals to 2 shell, 8 electrons will come. N is equal to 3 shell, 1 electron will come. So in n is equals to 3 shell, 1 electron is there. So to get 8, how many are less? 7 electrons are there. In that sodium, n is equal to 3 shell, 1 electron is there. To get that 8 electrons, how many electrons are less? 7 electrons are less. 7 electrons less. Okay. It is easy to gain that 7 electrons, or it is easy to lose 1 electron. it is easy to lose one electron when we compare with gaining of 7 electrons. That's why this sodium losing that one electron, that's losing one electron. So this sodium is losing one electron, no? That's why its valency is 1. So this sodium losing this one electron means the sodium is giving this one electron to chlorine. Why? Because in chlorine last one electron is less, no? Chlorine is taking that electron, sodium is giving the electrons. So after giving the one electron from sodium, in sodium shell how many electrons, sodium last shell how many electrons are there? 8 electrons are there. So now sodium is stable. So chlorine is taking one electron from sodium, no? So how many electrons are there in the last shell? 8 electrons are there. Now it will also stable. Okay. So then sodium is giving the electron, chlorine is taking the electrons. So here atom of one element is combining with the atom of another elements according to its combining capacity is known as its valency. I tell you, know, like this. Atom of one element is combining with the atom of another elements. Like this, the atom of one element is combining with the atom of another element. Then what happened? Means sodium, one atom, sodium, okay, one atom, chlorine is another atom, means atom of one element is combining with another element, means sodium atom is combining with the chlorine atom, no? Means sodium is one of the atom, chlorine is one of the atom. So atom of one element is combining with the atom of another element. Then what happened? That form a new substance. That new substance is called as compound. Sodium one atom, chlorine one atom. So these atoms of different elements combine together and form a new substance that is called as compound. So sodium is combining with chlorine now. What is that new substance? Sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is new substance. The sodium chloride is new substance. That sodium chloride is also called as compound. Like this, the compound formation will take place. How the compound formation will take place? When the atom of one element is combining with the atom of another element, that form a new substance. The new substance is called as compound. So here, like this, according to octet rule, according to its combining capacity, atom of one element is combining with the atom of another element. Okay. Here how many electrons are losing, okay, atom of the elements how many electrons it is losing, atom of the elements how many electrons are gaining, that is called as its valency. Okay, so valency is nothing but atom of the elements have power to combining with the atom of another elements. This is known as its valency. Discuss about one more topic. What is an ion? So what is the meaning of ion? Now we will discuss. Compounds are formed by metals and non-metals contain charged species. How the compounds are formed? In previous topic we discussed, you know, atom of one element is combining with the atom of another element that form a new substance. That new substance is called as compounds. Okay, so these compounds are formed by metals and non-metals. So do you know which are called as metals and non-metals? Elements we can classify as metals and non-metals. Elements we can classify as metals and non-metals and metalloids. Okay, we can classify the elements by depending on the physical properties like lustrous, malleable, ductile, sonority, good conductors of heat and electricity. This we discussed in the previous class, means in the 8th class we discussed, no, in metals and non-metals chapter, like in that. Okay, non-metals means which are non-lustrous, non-malleable, non-ductile, okay, non-sonorous, which are the bad conductors of heat and electricity. We can call that as a non-metals that we discussed. Okay, so here the compounds are formed by metals and non-metals. How the compound formation will take place? Compound formation will take place by metals and non-metals that contain a charged species. That contain a charged species. The charged species are known as ions. The charged species are known as ions. A negatively charged ion is called as anion, and positively charged ion is called as cation. So for example, sodium chloride does not contain discrete molecule as its constituent units. Its constituent particles are positively charged sodium ions and negatively charged chloride ions. So ions may be charged independent of atoms or group of atoms, polyatoms that have a net charge on them. Hence ions are charged. particles. So what is the meaning of ions? Now we will discuss. Here in previous topic we discussed that sodium atomic number 11. In first shell, in that 11 protons, 11 electrons are there. In first shell means n is equals to 1 shell, we can fill 2 electrons, and next to 8 electrons we can fill in n is equals to 2 shell. 2 plus 8, how many are completed? 8 complete. 8 2 plus 8 means 10 electrons completed. Remaining one more electron is there. This one more electron we can fill in the n is equals to 3 shell. Okay, so here in the sodium 2 electrons will come in n is equals to 1 shell, 8 electrons will come in n is equals to 2 shell, 1 electron will come in n is equals to 3 shell. So it is stable? No, it is not stable. Why? Because in that last shell means in n is equals to 3 shell, 1 electron is more. Okay, so means n is equals to 3 shell, only 1 electron is there, 8 electrons are not there, so it is not stable. So to get that 8 electrons, what is it doing? It is for the sodium, it is easy to gain 7 electrons, or it is easy to lose 1 electron. It is easy to lose 1 electron when we compare with gaining of 7 electrons. So sodium losing 1 electron. Okay, sodium losing 1 electron. Okay, so it is losing 1 electron. No, it will come then okay, plus symbol will come, Na plus upside means sodium is losing 1 electron, that's why Na plus will come. Okay, so this positive charge will come when the atom of the elements losing the electrons, positive charge will come. This positive charge ion is called as cation. Okay, so it is losing the 1 electron, no, then positive charge will come. Okay, next chlorine atomic number 17. In first shell we can fill 2 electrons, n is equals to 1 shell. Next n is equal to 2 shell, we can fill 8 electrons. Okay, n is equals to 2 shell, we can fill 8 electrons. Okay, total how many electrons completed out of 17? N is equals to 1 2 electrons, n is equal to 8 electrons, 2 plus 8 10 electrons completed. Remaining how many electrons are less? 7 electrons. These 7 electrons will occupy in n is equal to third shell, means in n is equals to third shell we can fill 7 electrons, means first shell 2 electrons, second shell 8 electrons, 2 plus 8 10 electrons completed, n is equal to third shell 7 electrons, means total 17 electrons completed. Now in this n is equal to third shell 7 electrons are there, no, so it is stable? Not stable. Why? Because in that n is equals to 3 shell 7 electrons are there, 8 electrons are not there, that's why it is not stable. So for chlorine it is easy to lose 7 electrons, or it is easy to gain 1 electron. For chlorine it is easy to gain 1 electron. So chlorine is gaining that 1 electron. After gaining that 1 electron in this last shell 8 electrons will come now, then it will become stable. So that's why this chlorine is taking 1 electron from another element. This chlorine is taking 1 electron from another element. From which element? Like sodium, hydrogen, like that. So sodium giving the electron, chlorine is taking the electron. Here chlorine is taking the electron, no, then negative symbol will come. Then what will come? Negative symbol will come. Okay, this negatively charged ion is called as anion. Chlorine is taking the electron, then negative symbol will come, means we can write like this, Cl minus. Okay, here ions are nothing but the charged species are known as ions, means atom of the elements to get that 8 electrons, sometimes it is losing the electrons, sometimes it is gaining the electrons. By losing the electrons, by gaining the electrons, then charges, it is getting charges, means by giving the electrons positive charge it will get, by taking the electrons negative charge it will get. Okay, so here these charges, okay, the charged species are known as ions. Okay, elements by giving the electrons, by taking the electron, that is getting charges, that charged species are known as ions. Okay, so compounds are formed by metals and non-metals. Okay, compounds are formed by metals and non-metals. These metals and non-metals that contain charged species. So compounds are formed by metals and non-metals. So according to its combining capacity, compounds will form, no. So according to octet rule, okay, by depending on the octet rule, sometimes that is losing the electron, sometimes that is gaining the electron. By losing the electron, by gaining the electron, that is getting charges on that. These charged species are known as ions. Okay, if it lose the electrons like sodium, okay, then it is called as cation and positive charge will come. Okay, if it is losing the electron, then on that positive charge will come, that is called as cation. If it is taking the electron, then negative symbol will come, and that is called as anion. Okay, so ions are nothing but charged species. Okay, the charged species are known as anion. If it is losing the electron, that is called as cation. If it is then positive symbol will come. If it is taking the electron, that is called as anion. So for that, negative symbol will come. In sodium, that is giving the electron, no, Na plus will come, that is called as sodium cation. Chlorine, it is taking the electron, no, negative symbol will come, that is called as chlorine anion. Okay, like that.